that name? Martha, why did you say that name?
Stop! Please, stop!
Why did you say that name?
It's his mother's name. It's his mother's name.
This scene right here is made fun of a lot. They stopped fighting because their moms have the same name. What they were trying to do here was show that Superman has a family and that he has a mother, just like Bruce Wayne does. It takes him from being an unfeeling god to more of a relatable human with humanity. Batman realizes that Superman isn't much different from himself, and in that he decides to end the fight. That would be a really cool concept if it even worked in this movie. Because throughout the whole movie, you see Superman as an unfeeling god. He's kind of done some weird ass shit. And both of the characters in this movie have done things in this movie that don't feel like anything they would do in the comics that they were born in. This scene really sums up the entire movie. It's a mess. It's not cohesive. It doesn't make sense. All of it is trying to do something, but it's not doing it right. It's one of the greatest failures in cinematic history, and I want to tell you why. Before I melt this movie down, I want everyone to know that if you like this movie, that's okay. I'm glad you like it. I don't. I don't. And I want to explain why I don't, and that's the purpose of the video, because I don't think this movie works in the slightest. I think first off, from watching this movie, it's very clear that Zack Snyder does not like comic books. You see, this isn't really a correct interpretation of Batman or Superman. Superman is kind of just, he's there. In his last movie, he didn't save his dad because his dad thinks that he should let people die, so that he doesn't show himself as a super enhanced being. That makes perfect sense. I completely understand that. Hey, Clark, don't use your powers for good. Maybe just let people die, and also let me die. Bye. Here's a hurricane and I'm gonna die now. Okay, I'm waving to you. Bye. I could get into Man of Steel and where that fails as a Superman movie, but I'm here to talk about the huge disaster that is Batman v Superman. So like I was saying, the characters in this movie aren't really the same characters at all. I can see why people might like this version of Superman and Batman, but I'm here to say that this is not what they're like in the comics at all. I know Batman does kill in some comics like The Dark Knight, which this movie is obviously going for that vibe, but to open your new Batman with this is not the best choice. Batman kills so many people in this movie and you cannot tell me otherwise. In the warehouse scene alone, there are like at least 5 guys who die by the hands of Batman. And there's a moment where he literally uses a gun. That's like the one thing Batman shouldn't have in his arsenal. Batman is the gadget superhero, and a gun is not a cool gadget. It's just a gun. Batarangs that explode and cover the enemy in goo is cool. I got one of those in my pants. Cut that. Spencer, cut that. Cut that, editor. Cut that. That was bad. I don't like that in there. Cut it, please. A gun, on the other hand, a gun, that's just lame. And that's why I'm here to say, folks, that Spencer.G does not support guns. Boo guns. Boo, they suck. More goo, less guns. Despite that, though, I think that Ben Affleck actually is a pretty good choice for Batman. He looks the part, and he actually gives a pretty decent performance in this movie. Now, with Superman, I think there's just a lot wrong here. Visually, Henry Cavill looks sexy as hell. He's Superman. I see the vibe. I see what they wanted to go with here. But like, why is he so dark and moody? Not to mention how gray and boring the suit kind of looks in this movie. Zack Snyder depicts Superman as a god, and the people of the world deem him as a fake god. And I'm here to say that Superman isn't even a god at all, really. He is a normal guy who grew up as a human on Earth. He just happens to be an alien with superpowers. For the majority of Clark's life, he was just a normal ass dude. But to Zack, that's not cool enough. In fact, that's kind of lame, guys. So what do we do? My boy, Zack Snyder, who I like to call an edgelord, that's what they called me in high school because I was so good at edging. Oh my God. Damn it, there goes my streak. Thanks a lot, Zack Snyder, you bitch. Superman has no character in this movie other than looking cool and like being dark and brooding. But that's what Batman is supposed to be like. So now you just have two protagonists who are going up against each other who act the exact same way. There's nothing special about that. Now I feel like I could shit on this movie all day. But it's time to say some honestly good things about it. Let's try that. Okay, give me a sec. Let me lock in. Oh, you know what helps me think is drinking. It's drinking break. Oh, oh shit. I guess Zack Snyder kind of had a vision. I might not agree with that vision, and I might not like it when it comes to adapting these characters specifically, but it's still a vision that he executed. I have to give him props for even doing anything at all. You look at a lot of Marvel movies, they kind of just look like they have no personality. Filmmakers aren't really putting any effort into those movies. Even though I dislike it, Zack is still trying to do something, which compared to doing nothing, is still better than doing nothing. Zack just kinda isn't a fan of the characters he seems to be using in these movies. He thought Superman was lame and too much of a Boy Scout, so he attempted to make him cool and dark and brooding. He likes Batman, but he has a wrong idea of who Batman is. Batman is a badass. He is dark. He is suave, but he doesn't fucking kill people. This movie would probably work better if it came out like 5 years down the line in this DCEU, but it's literally the second movie. The only character we were ever introduced to in this movie is Superman. That's it. All the other characters are characters that are meeting for the first time. That brings me to my next point. A lot of the story in this movie is laughably bad. Like there's a scene near the end where Batman finds folders on all the Justice League members. Wait, is it Batman or is it Wonder Woman? I don't know. It's one of them. He sees the Flash and Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Cyborg probably. And for some reason, Lex Luthor, I don't know, he went out of his way to make logos for all of them. If you didn't already think he was a loser, this might sell you on that. Also, Batman brands people.
That's disgusting.
That's really messed up. Now, all the people he brands, they're killed in prison. And now Batman is blamed for killing inmates. Oh my god. Big gasps. But like, guys, Batman has already been killing people. He's making them fucking explode with his goddamn Batman-mobile.
Batman-mobile.
Batmobile.
That's what I said, Batman-mobile.
You're putting the there's no man, it's just
Batmobile.
Batmobile.
Batman-mobile.
He has been killing people already, so why is it bad all of a sudden when this happens? Why is it a surprise at all? Also, Wonder Woman shows up and she has epic music.
I'm very easily influenced by music.
I hate this movie. It's a mess. There's so much going on, yet none of it is cohesive. It doesn't even really feel like a superhero movie. There's one scene where a fucking wheelchair explodes and Superman just stands there and looks kind of sad, and then he just flies away. He doesn't do anything. He just sees everyone burn and is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna leave now, bye. I feel like this movie had a lot of promise, obviously, with a concept like cool Superman and badass Batman fighting each other. Who wouldn't want to see that? And maybe I'll say that the fight scene between them is pretty cool. It's a lot of epic fighting in this movie. All the action scenes are pretty cool. The problem is that the other things in the movie are bad. I mean, like, look at the opening scene of Bruce going into Metropolis and trying to save people during the events of Man of Steel and seeing the destruction that this guy can really do. It makes you go, okay, yeah, no, I can see why Batman might not like this guy's Superman. I wonder where this might go, actually. And it just takes a big cliff dive after that, honestly. So, like I said, Zack Snyder had a specific vision. If you look at most of his movies, they kind of ooze sex. Like, he likes characters being the coolest motherfuckers you can think of. A protagonist is someone who's cool and sexy and strong and gets the love interest. And if it's R-rated, they might just have a little bit of sex. And some people like this vision, and I will not make fun of these people. But that vision, it doesn't work for these characters. But you know what? Batman just, he drinks and he has sex with women. But you know what's cooler than that? Batman doing Batman stuff. Also, Superman has sex with Lois Lane in the bathtub for some reason, and I guess also cooks eggs with his shirt off. Excuse me, Clark, but I do not want your chest hair in my eggs, please. That's disgusting. Wear a hairnet on that chest, buddy. Wonder Woman is super sexy and super mysterious, but it would be cooler if she was just Wonder Woman and, you know, helped out more than just showing up in the last 20 minutes of the movie. I think that if you don't like a character and you're adapting that character, I guess you can make tiny changes to like fit your style. For sure. But when Batman's main characteristic is that he does not kill people and then you change that to have him shoot down people, that's kind of a big change, Zacky Poo. If you don't like these characters at all, don't adapt them at all. Adapt something that you do like. I understand that he was probably offered the director's chair because of money, and also the idea of doing Batman and Superman on paper, it's super cool. But the way that Zack saw all these characters is misinterpreting who they actually are. This is not Batman. This is not Superman. This is definitely not Lex Luthor. I don't know who this is. I guess Wonder Woman is fine. She's barely in it, so she's pretty safe. You know, the main characters just don't really feel the way they should feel. They don't really act the way they should act. Zack wanted to make the coolest movie ever. And I guess visually, he did do that. Everything else is stupid. And I hate it. I fucking hate this movie so much. Watching it again has made me hate it even more. I just can't stand it. And forcing in wider universe characters in a movie that already is loaded with characters like Lex Luthor, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Alfred, Lois Lane, you don't need to put more characters in this, buddy. You got it. But the biggest thing is that this movie should have came out when all those characters were already introduced. Imagine introducing Batman into your new universe, and the first thing that he does is brand a man and then try to fight and kill Superman. That's wild. You need to build up to that, dude. That is something that comes naturally, not just all of the sudden. DC was really trying to play catch up with Marvel, but Marvel had built up their universe to a point where it made sense for characters like Captain America and Iron Man to have conflict because they already had so much history. But Warner Bros. And DC wanted to take shortcuts to success, and all it led them to was one of the biggest flops in cinematic history. Now, many of you will probably be saying that this movie made a lot of money, and technically you're right. It's not technically considered a failure. It did make money. But did it make that much money? Let's look at the facts. I'm going to be reading off my tablet. This movie has two of the most popular superheroes in all of fiction battling it out. And in a total worldwide box office, it made $875 million on a $260 million budget, not including marketing. If you include marketing, it's probably around $520 million total. That's how much it cost to make this movie. So it made a profit of like $300 million. Pretty decent. But it's also Batman and Superman. This movie should have made $1 billion. So, for example, we look at Captain America Civil War. That had a budget of $250 million before marketing. So if we add marketing in, it's probably around $500 million. And it made a total of $1.15 billion. Captain America and Iron Man, before the MCU existed, were not nearly as popular as Superman and Batman. But Marvel built these characters up piece by piece, interesting story by interesting story, and that conflict that they show in Civil War, it kind of happened naturally. DC just had like two of their main guys fight without even really properly meeting each other. This movie is just mistake after mistake after mistake, to the point where you just kind of have to admit that this movie probably shouldn't have happened. These aren't the characters that they should be, and this is not a script worthy of them anyways. Now, many of you might be wondering what score I would give this movie. That's a good question. It's a 2 out of 10. I hate it. I really dislike this movie. This movie gives me nothing. This movie makes me sad, actually. And I'm sorry to all the Snyder heads, but I'm actually glad that the Snyderverse is over. I don't think I could have stood seeing any more of this universe that had no planning or setup. But Spencer, they were gonna do evil Superman, and who takes over the world? Man, I don't want to see that. Especially when you look at other evil Superman type characters out there. This idea is not fresh. I think it's cool that this movie has fans, but also the fans are horribly toxic and literally harassed so many people to get what they wanted. And when they got that, they just continued harassing people. I'm glad this is over. This is a bad superhero movie. Probably one of the worst ever. The greatest cinematic failure ever. Probably, actually, no, it's greatest cinematic failure in like the past 10 years. I'll give you that, guys. Okay, 10 years. It's not the worst thing to ever gleam my eyes. I just personally dislike it a lot. It is, though, one of my least favorite movies. And it might be one of my earliest memories of going into a theater and then walking out and realizing that maybe not all movies are good. But maybe that's why this movie is important. It showed me that not every movie I go to see is going to be good. It also proved that superhero movies can stumble. I don't know. I'm trying to be grateful for this movie's existence, but like I gotta be honest, guys, I just hate it. I don't want to do that. This sucks. I hate it. I wish this didn't exist. I wish it was better, but it's bad. And I'm running out of things to say, and I think if I keep talking, my eyes are gonna bleed. Like, I can't afford another crash out, dude. Oh my god, the last one? We're still trying to replant that forest. I know this video is probably kind of weird and kind of messy. I understand, and I hope you liked it, though. I know the Snyder fans will not agree with me and probably not like this. But like, you know, Snyder's making a lot of stuff. You guys probably like it. Rebel Moon? I never saw it, but I think you guys would like it, probably. I actually don't know. I don't know. I don't want to watch Rebel Moon. Batman v Superman. If I keep talking about this movie, I'm going to be sick. Okay. Leave a like and leave a comment if you want to hang out with me. I have a lot of free time, and I will not watch this movie with you, though. That is the one rule. I'd rather eat eggs with Henry Cavill's chest hair in it. Actually, that sounds kind of good. Anyways, remember, as always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay sexy. Okay. Bye.
Reach this fuck. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up. Reach this fuck. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up. I got pieces, lumps in my bowl. Now my name's on through control.